Hey everybody, this is Jesse with Rave Smart, and I think it's safe to say that most of us never want to be seen as that sweaty person at the rave. But did you know that staying cool actually reduces the chances of neurotoxicity? So in today's episode, we'll take a look at two studies that covered the correlation between temperature and increases in neurotoxicity. And before we get started, please make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at Rave Smart TV. Please like and comment, as this helps the algorithm find more videos and get this out to more people. So I think any of us that have been participating in this scene for long enough have run into one of those sweaty characters that is in much rougher shape than they realize they are. They're, sweating profusely. They are burning up from temperature, and you just want to do something about it. What a lot of people don't realize is that this should be much more alarming for our community than we generally consider it to be. Additionally, nightclub owners and promoters need to be conscientious of this, because even small changes of ambient temperature can have drastic effects on the body temperature of people that are in the crowd. All right, so for this first study, I'm going to whip out the phone here, but to give you basically a rundown on what they learned. This study was from back in 1998, and it involved ambient temperature. And essentially what they found with the rats that they were testing is that rats that were treated with MDMA between 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, actually received a hypothermic response. Any rat between 20 and 24 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 68 degrees to 76 degrees, or somewhere in that range, Fahrenheit, didn't really see any increases in neurotoxicity from MDMA. And then any rat that saw temperatures between 26 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is from there up to about 86 degrees, saw drastic increases in neurotoxicity. So what they learned is that even by changing the temperature just a few degrees higher, the body tends to react to it in a much more intense way than expected. And this definitely translates to the way that humans experience this as well. And I think also largely is part of why we tend to see a lot more medical tent visits at very hot festivals, for example. So for this next study, they basically studied rats again. This was about 2007. And essentially what they learned is that body temperature correlates to the amount that MDMA metabolizes into its more toxic metabolites, like MDA being a first step, but then HMA, HMMA, and so forth, which are far more neurotoxic for the body. What they learned is that through those same increases as the last study with the ambient temperature of the room, there was an increase in the plasma concentration of these neurotoxic metabolites. So therefore, completely proving that as body temperature goes up, as room temperature goes up, everybody is at a lot more risk for the type of damage that, one, makes you feel like absolute garbage and makes your recovery take forever, but two, also does the brain damage that has the long-lasting effects that you definitely do not want. So I guess the big question from there is, what can we do about this? How do we prevent our temperature from going up? How do we prevent this type of damage in this type of circumstance? I think the number one point to remember is that we need to take breaks. You can't dance the entire time and work up this incredible sweat when you are on a substance that is not going to allow your body to regulate its temperature correctly. In addition to that, you need to make sure that you are extra conscientious of your hydration, but also your electrolyte levels. You don't want to end up in a situation where you're basically drowning yourself with water without the electrolytes, because that is just as bad and can lead to just as difficult circumstances. I also recommend, if you are in an indoor venue, figure out where some of those AC ducts are at. If in the event that you see somebody that that seems like they're really getting overheated, that they might need a break, direct them over with you to a place to cool off at. That way, everybody can cool off, take a breather, get some water, and then get back to it after, bringing down that body temperature. Now, in terms of what you're wearing, this can also be a huge detriment to you or a huge advantage to you, dependent on what the circumstance is. You really need to know your venue. If you're going to be at an outdoor festival and it's pretty hot outside, it's in your best interest, obviously, to dress very light. If you are in a colder environment, then it's probably in your best advantage to dress a little bit in the middle, right? Enough so that you can cool off when you need to, but enough to keep you warm, because ideally you don't want to be freezing on the dance floor. That sucks. Another surprising component that I didn't know personally is that sleep deprivation can actually lead to the body incorrectly managing its ability to sweat and thus cool itself off. So make sure in the days or week prior to a big night that you get plenty of sleep. And I think sometimes we all try to go into this saying, hey, I know everything. I know what my body can handle, but ease into your night. Don't try to go all out right at the beginning. Pace yourself so you know how your body feels throughout the night, and you can get to that point where you want to be and where you feel comfortable without extending yourself too far and ending up in a predicament where you're not having a good time anymore. Now, I think anybody that has been around in this scene, has been in the festival circuit a while, you have probably been there and been present for somebody that is on the verge of heat stroke. I think it's important for us to know a few of the telltale signs, such as very high body temperature, excessive sweating, or even worse, the cessation of sweating at all. These are all big warning signs that we really need to pay attention to when we're out there. Additionally, if you see somebody that is acting kind of rigid, if they seem like they're cramping up with their muscles, if they even are having spasms or seizing, these are obvious signs that it is probably about time for that person to seek medical attention. So just a quick summary, I just wanted to say, keep in mind that your body temperature means everything when it comes down to neurotoxicity, but also keep track of what the ambient temperature in the room is, as that will definitely trigger that body temperature to escalate or de-escalate accordingly. Outside of that though, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something from this lesson. If you can, please like, comment, subscribe. All of this helps the channel get to a bigger audience, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.